Islam, no sé por qué.
But at that time, it was very important for me to begin everything from the re-begin everything from the beginning.
Pero en ese momento fue muy importante o fácil para mí reiniciarme, empezar desde el principio.
And I started, I bought my ticket to go to Sitges and my ticket to go to Mecca at the same time.
Compré mi ticket para ir a Sitges y para ir a la Meca al mismo tiempo.
And it was good because that was my part of my identity.
Y estuvo bien porque era parte de mis dos identidades.
And then I studied more and more about Islam, about the fact that Islam is trying to promote. So Islam does not exist.
Estudié más y más sobre el Islam.
And Islam does not exist. It doesn't speak. It's an ideal.
Como si el Islam no existiera, como si fuese un ideal.
And we are making our own Islam. Islam, it means peace in Arabic.
Nosotros hacemos nuestro propio Islam. Islam significa paz en árabe.
And it talks about brotherhood, human brotherhood.
Se habla de ser hermanos de una forma humana.
So like Islamic feminists in the 80s, 90s, last century,
entonces el islamismo feminista a partir del siglo XVIII, XIX,
I've begun to understand that excluding women or LGBT people is not Islamic.
Comencé a comprender que excluir a las mujeres o a las personas LGTB no es islámico.
So that was my beginning of the first step of my reconciliation with Islam.
Entonces fue el primer peldaño que subí para entender o llegar a la reconciliación entre orientación sexual e Islam.
Then I get back to the books that I used to study when I was a teenager.
Volví a los libros que solía estudiar cuando era adolescente.
And I heard again about that mukhannathun.
Y escuché de nuevo about Muhammad.
Yeah, this is it. And mukhantha in Arabic it means not a man, not a woman, androgynous, in between.
Es una persona que no es ni mujer ni hombre, es andrógino.
And those people were accepted within the prophets of Islam alayhi salatu with his wives and his kids.
Y ese tipo de personas eran aceptadas en la casa o en el entorno social del profeta con sus niños, sus mujeres.
And the wives of the prophet were not very veiled in front of them because they knew that they didn't have any masculine attribute or any desire for women.
Y las mujeres no llevaban el velo para cubrirse de estas personas porque sabían que no tenían una orientación heterosexual hacia ellos.
And that's in the books that Islamists use, the same books that they use to condemn us.
Y eso se usa en los mismos libros que se utilizan a la vez para condenar a las personas homosexuales.
There is many other hadith that we can talk about, but hadith talking about homosexual relationships outside of marriage and was tolerated at that time.
Se puede hablar de muchas situaciones, por ejemplo, homosexualidad tolerada al mismo tiempo que se estaba casado.
But hadith is oral tradition, right?
Pero la tradición oral.
Yeah, that's hadith.
Hadith is la tradition.
Yeah, and another tradition, another hadith is telling that some people wanted at that time to kill mukhannathun.
Y otra tradición oral decía que algunas personas querían matar a mukhannathun.
And the Prophet ﷺ defended them.
Y el profeta los defendió a estas personas andróginas.
And he said, I was forbidden to kill who prayed.
Y él decía que se le había prohibido matar a quien ora.
Yeah, right. And this is a very powerful symbol because the prayer for Muslims is it's the symbol of equality.
Y esto es muy poderoso, es un símbolo muy poderoso porque quiere decir igualdad.
So for me that was like a revelation because it was the second step of my reconciliation with the Prophet of Islam. After Islam, the Prophet of Islam.
Y esto para mí fue muy importante porque fue un segundo peldaño hacia la reconciliación entre homosexualidad e Islam.
Once again, I'm not defending Islam, but I'm just trying to say that the people that want to exist within Islam, they have the right to do so.
No es que quiera defender el Islam, pero decir, dentro del Islam tiene derecho a ser, a sentir.
And once again, nobody has the right to say you're not human enough to have spirituality because you are LGBT.
Y nadie nos puede decir que no somos lo suficientemente humanos porque seamos LGBT.
And then I read books like the one who was published last year. It's a book from Scott Kugel.
Leí libros como el que fue publicado el año pasado por Scott.
It's an American, a gay American converted to Islam. He's professor at the university.
Un profesor en la universidad gay convertido al Islam.
And he goes into Quranic exegesis.
Y entra dentro de la exégesis del Corán
Concerning the verses about people of Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Y analiza los versículos del entorno de la historia de Sodoma y Gomorra, sobre Lot.
And we find out that, I found out that the people that has been quoted in those verses has nothing to do with Muhammadun.
Y llegué a la conclusión que las personas de las que se hablan en esos versículos no tienen que ver con esas personas andróginas.
Yeah, because Muhammadun, they were described as being effeminate, wearing very colorful clothes like women, wearing henna. Henna, it's a kind of special and at that time it was reserved for women. It was like wearing today women's clothes.
Porque los mujanatún eran descritos como femeninos, se pintaban.
But those people that are quoted in the Quran are described as thieves, vapors, violent people.
Sin embargo, las personas de las que se habla en estos pasajes se presentan como ladrones, violadores, sí, agresivos.
And all throughout the Islamic history, from the time of the Prophet until very recently, there is some Arabic tribes.
Y bueno, hasta recientemente ha habido tribus árabes
that used to have that tradition of being violent with strangers.
Han tenido esa tradición de ser violentos con los extraños,
sometimes killing them,
matándoles,
or raping them to humiliate them,
o violándoles para humillarlos.
And we have historical facts telling us about people called by Khulafa, which is the direct successors of the Prophet.
Tenemos hechos de personas que han sido llamadas por el sucesor,
Of the Prophet.
Del profeta,
that were describing, killing, executing people like that because they were against the authority of, against their political authority.
Gente que mataba a otros porque iban en contra de la autoridad política.
So once again, it has nothing to do with homosexuality, even at that time. Not talking about what's happening now.
Nunca ha tenido entonces que ver con la homosexualidad, incluso en aquellos tiempos.
Homosexuality, of course, it's difficult to say that they were homosexuals, Muhammadun, but it's, transgender, something like that. At that time, it was not, we can talk about that from an anthropological point of view. Sexuality was considered very differently than it is today, of course.
Es un poco difícil decir que los mujanatún fueran homosexuales, quizás transgénero, pero el concepto de homosexualidad sería diferente entonces que ahora.
But once again, those people that are described in the Quran has nothing to do with what we call today, and even at that time, muhammadun, androgynous, transgender, homosexuals, whatever.
Pero esa gente que se describe en esos textos en el Corán no tienen que ver con los mujanatún, los homosexuales.
One of them was called by his tribe, Fujar.
Uno era llamado por su tribu Fujar.
And Fujar in Arabic, it comes from brave. It means brave. The one who is brave and kills the enemy and rapes the enemy sometimes.
Que significa el que es valiente, el que mata al enemigo, el que viola al enemigo.
And personally, I don't know you, but personally I have nothing to do with people like that.
Y no sé vosotros, pero yo no tengo que ver con gente así.
calls about spirituality, about the fact that Islam is more about Sufism, mysticism, peace,
Habla de la
inner peace.
espiritualidad, que el Islam se trata más del sufismo, de la paz.
And he calls to embrace an Islamic humanism.
Nos llama a abrazar un humanismo islámico.
So we are working with imams in France. We used to work with imams in France, like Tariq Ubro,
Estamos trabajando con imanes en Francia como Tariq Ubro,
pretty radical,
bastante radical,
but open to the dialogue with the sexual minorities
pero
within Islam.
abierto a dialogar con las minorías sexuales dentro del Islam.
And after the Islamic feminism, we are trying now
Tras el movimiento del feminismo islámico, ahora estamos intentando
to build step by step an Islamic, LGBT Islamic theology.
construir pues una teología LGTB dentro del Islam.
So, secularism,
El laicismo
laicity. It's a double chance against double discrimination.
es una doble oportunidad y una doble discriminación.
HM2F has been created as a citizen network.
HM2F ha sido creada como una red ciudadana.
Which means that if we are apolitical, we don't do politics.
Y somos apolíticos, que no nos metemos en la política.
It doesn't mean that we are not civically engaged.
No quiere decir que no estemos metidos en el civismo.
And we are against every kind of homonationalism
Estamos en contra de cualquier tipo de homonacionalismo
that has been denounced by intellectuals like Judith Butler in Berlin.
que han sido condenados por intelectuales como Judith Butler en Berlín.
She refused, you can find the video on internet.
Se negó a
She refused a prize from the Berlin Pride because she said that some of you guys, LGBT network here in Berlin,
rechazó un premio del orgullo gay de Berlín porque alegaba que algunos de nosotros, activistas,
are telling openly that you are racist.
que decíamos abiertamente que éramos racistas.
But you can find that homonationalism also in Palestine that we've been.
Pero esta especie de homonacionalismo se puede encontrar hasta en Palestina también,
Where extremists are forcing sometimes LGBT or women
donde extremistas están obligando a personas LGTB o incluso a mujeres
to accept and internalize their own radical, extreme political norms.
a aceptar o internalizar las creencias extremas y radicalistas que ellos propongan.
And in France also it happened that we have been described as dogmatic people.
Y en Francia también se nos ha descrito como personas dogmáticas.
We are part of the LGBT Federation,
Formamos parte de la Federación LGTB,
from the Harvard, which is a network to welcome victims of discrimination.
de una red que se llama Harvard, que es una red para dar cobijo a víctimas del racismo, de discriminación,
Especially homophobia.
y la homofobia.
We are part also of the LGBT Center of Paris
Somos también parte del Centro LGTB de París
and of a committee to research and consult about new programs concerning the AIDS and HIV pandemic.
y de un comité para investigar
Committee research against HIV pandemic.
sobre la pandemia del VIH en Francia.
But sometimes it's never enough because
Pero a veces esto no basta. No
If
es
you are-
suficiente.
if you are homosexual, some politicians, right wings in France, are using that to say you have to vote for us because we are going to protect you against Muslims.
Pero a veces los políticos a la derecha en Francia están diciendo que los homosexuales tienen que votarles a ellos porque les van a proteger de los radicales.
And if you are Muslim, some extremist Muslims are telling you you have to be extreme like we are to protect yourself from Western culture, homosexuality, deviance.
Los musulmanes extremistas están diciendo a los musulmanes, entre comillas, normales que les tienen que apoyar a ellos en contra de los ideales occidentales.
So once again, we think that secularism, laicite, is a double chance. That's the only way for us.
Nosotros pensamos que el laicismo es la única oportunidad, es una doble oportunidad.
And it's very hard to find partners in Europe that are not doing politics but are trying stick to our aim.
Es muy difícil encontrar en Europa personas o organizaciones sociales que comparten los mismos valores.
And our aim is to create an inclusive Islam to make LGBT people accepted unconditionally.
Nuestro objetivo es crear un Islam inclusivo que acepte a todas las personas LGTB sin condiciones.
So it means that queer Muslims, and you know that, it's very hard to be visible for them.
Sabéis que es muy difícil que los gays musulmanes sean visibles, que sean gays abiertamente.
And it's very hard also for them to mature their reflection.
Es muy difícil también para ellos madurar y avanzar en su reflexión y su pensamiento.
About who they are they Muslims, are they queer, do they have to choose?
Sobre quiénes son, si son musulmanes, si son gays, si tienen que elegir entre las dos cosas.
Some of them think that if they, for example, that's a concrete example, if they condemn Israel and the occupation of Palestine, they're going to be accepted somehow by Muslim extremists.
Algunos piensan que si condenan las actuaciones de Israel contra el pueblo palestino, que les van a aceptar, los musulmanes extremistas les van a aceptar.
Like some gay people think that if they